Okay, what's up, guys? Everybody, as you can tell, I'm a little bit tired. Now I do realize last week I said I'd be taking a look at the Flower Maidens. However, some stuff happened. I got dragged back into BuddyFight. Uh, this time a little bit more willingly than I am when I get dragged back into most games. Initially, I was not going to do BuddyFight ever again. I had gotten out of the game during the opening because it just didn't wow me and catch me. Much like how Vanguard did almost instantaneously with Enigman being Ultraman and the WoW series being Gundam. I did try at Buddy Fight and it just didn't catch my eye. Then I saw that Hero World was coming. So it's like, all right, well, I'll hang on for Hero World. And, it was one of those things where Bushi was trolling everybody. They kept showing all these great Hero World cards. I was super happy. It was coming out. Then it just would not come out. It took forever. So I gave up on the game again. Just, out of the sheer fact that, they kept showing everything and showing everything. You got to see Captain Answer, you got to see Card Burn, you got to see Quartet 5, but you didn't get to, but you couldn't play it forever and ever and ever. And it eventually drove me away. Recently, my shop finally showed me, hey, the Hero World stuff finally released. So I bought a crap ton of it. And now I'm sitting in less than 2 weeks. I am now sitting on 3 different Hero World decks. So what this means for this show, because I am strictly a Hero World player. If you watched me last week with William Cole in the Dimension Police review, we know I am now a giant fan of Tokusatsu. I have a great deal of extra knowledge on some of these characters and what they're referencing. Just a little bit of general nerd knowledge. I will not be delving into other worlds. I am strictly going to be only playing Hero World. Now, that will limit this content for the show. So, under those circumstances, I will be dropping my phone, apparently. I will be only making Buddy Fight videos once a month. That way I can keep supplying content, and we will be looking at the tweaks of the 3 decks I have. I will not spoil what they are outside of the current one that I'm doing, which is Dark Heroes. And over the subsequent months, we will see how the 3 different decks I have change, what my progress is in the game. I actually went to my first Buddy Fight tournament yesterday and didn't do too badly. I did not have this Hero World deck built at the time. I built it after the tournament when I got more prize support. When I got prize support and pulled some more cards to make the deck a little bit more viable. I actually played my Quartet 5 deck. We will be going over that next month. But as usual, like I said, this is going to be a once a month thing. Sundays are still strictly reserved for Vanguard. However, I'm also starting to slow down and consolidate what clans I play in Vanguard. So to break up the monotony a little bit, we will be throwing Buddy Fight in once a month. So let's get going. Right off the bat, we have the Hero World flag. I love that it's the Red Ranger, potentially, or a Sentai helmet. Flag is pretty generic. It even says it right in there. Moving right along. Combatant Nebet. These guys are based off Shocker Grunts from Kamen Rider. That being said, he's not a bad monster at size 0. He's a 2/2 for 1 damage. He lets you get put into play for free. 1 copy even comes into play for free from the drop zone if you're putting in a size 2 or greater Dark Hero. He's really good at pinging or taking down weak, also 0 monsters, because, there are other creatures out there that are also size 0 that are pretty annoying, and this guy can be used taking down his cannon fodder, or he can simply be there to be the target of your self-destruct spells to give you more gauge or something. Shocker Grunts, much like Netted here, are dime a dozen and simply used as cannon fodder. Moving on, we have Dark Fist Gwen. Oh, by the way, guys, I run 3 of this guy. I also run 3 of Darkness Fist Gwen. It's a 3/2 for a crit of 2. Really solid ability. If you have another dark hero on the field, you can attack even if there's a monster in the center. So it gives a pseudo penetrate ability. And then it pops back to your hand, triggering a multitude of effects if you have them out on the field, and we'll be discussing those later. Pretty solid card. I run 3 of this guy. Yeah, unsure about the sex on this card. Gwen's kind of eh. The Scar. This could be a lot of things. Character-wise, he looks very similar to Raziel from Soul Reaver with the blade coming out of his hand. I don't know. It's coming out of Vice on his hand. I don't really know where this guy's from. Not everybody's going to have a Tokusatsu reference, but this guy's really, really good. A 4/4 for 3 damage on a 1-drop. He pops himself in combat. He's really there for the quick strike damage. Doing 3 damage right off the bat is always really good. The fact that he destroys himself at the end of battle is kind of okay. I run 4 of this dude purely for his damage output alone. Gosh, I really don't know what else to say about him. He's a good card. His just one flaw is tiny people can just suicide into him if he's somehow still on the field from not attacking for whatever reason, and then takes him out. So, I mean, he's still a good card. I really do like him. Don't let what I'm saying kind of fool you. He's very much needed in the Dark Hero deck. Sacrifice Iron Moon Slash. 6/3, crit of 2. His ability to discard a Dark Hero card and deal your opponent 1 point of damage. As I said earlier, just a little bit ago, Nabbits are pretty much shocker grunts, meaning they are just around for you to use them as they see fit. I have absolutely no problems in discarding a Nabbit for this guy's ability to just deal free damage. As like all Dark Heroes, at the end of turn, he pops himself, goes to discard pile. Really love the artwork on this one. I'm certain I've seen a creature like this before in Kamen Rider or Super Sentai. The entire design layout seems very, very familiar to me. If you guys know what he is, leave an idea of what he is in the comments. I'd really appreciate it. This is probably going to bother me. Like the Scar, I run 4 of him. Currently, he is my buddy, only because I do not have 5 Schwartz. I would love 5 Schwartz, but I'm going to be building this on my own with as least amount of help as I possibly can get. That way I don't owe anybody. I'm just one of those people, guys. Moving right along, we have Judgment Hollow Stridearm. Good opening card. 3/1 with a crit of 2. When he deals damage to your opponent, he also destroys a gauge. And then at the end of the battle, like most of everybody else, he kills himself. Really like this one. I really, really like the design work for this card. It almost seems like he was supposed to be a grander card, but failed to be a grander. I only say that purely for the mask alone. It seems very much like the rest of the grander masks. Good card. I run 3 of him. Next up, we run Violet Valor Lord Crow. A 6/4 with a crit of 2. He's one of my only size 2 monsters. He gets me free gauge when he comes into play. I really like splashing him in a whole lot of decks because he gives you free gauge. He has decent numbers for a size 2 monster. And he actually doesn't destroy himself at the end of turn unless you have another Dark Hero on the field. So this dude could actually just sit there and tank for a turn and not blow himself up, giving you some defense. So really, really good card. Right now, I run 3 of him. I'm probably going to change the numbers to 4 later on when I pull another one. And then Schwartz. Shadow Heater Schwartz. He's a 7/4, crit of 2. He's got Dumb Strike. That's pay gauge. And check a Dark Hero. Again, Nabbits. Chakra Grunts, they're disposable. They're specifically there to toss them. And then they get to come right back out when you call Schwartz. Schwartz, at the end of battle, he comes back to your hand, meaning they have to physically kill him to be rid of him, or you get to summon him and swing, and you also get to blow up a monster on their field every time he comes into play. He's also my favorite artwork design for very obvious reasons, because this dude is just flat out Kamen Rider Skull. There's just no way around it, as I bounce back and forth between those images. Yeah, Kamen Rider Skull. Love it. Like I said, I play 3 of him. Like I do Valor. As soon as I can get 2 more of him, he will be my buddy. But for now, it is Iron Moon Sacrifice, just because he is my second favorite artwork of the group. We run Shadow Requiem, pay a life, pay a gauge. Really decent weapon. High power weapon at 6k power and a crit of 3. That's really, really good. Really good attacking card. I run 4 of them right now in the deck. And only 2 of this one, Sneak Judgment. Pay 2 gauge. And you can attack if you have another monster on the another dark hero on the field. You can attack the opponent if there's a monster in the center, giving you somewhat of a pseudo penetrate ability. And then when a monster leaves the field during your attack phase, you get to draw a card that activates once per turn. So this gives you free draw, which is very, very necessary in this deck, because you are pretty much leaving yourself wide open every turn, and you got to take advantage of getting as much defensive cards as you possibly can. Idealistically, I only run these at 2, but idealistically, I actually want to switch and run these at 4 and run the sword at 2. But it is a double rare, so I got to try and get as many as I can. Moving on to spells, we have first Dark Hero Hideout. It's a set spell. I really, really find the artwork on this one really interesting. This is kind of like a Shocker, Joe Shocker, Die Shocker, a evil Kamen Rider base. Yeah, this is almost 1 for 1. Or, looking at it, I can actually see this as a base for Dr. Wily, too. So when a Dark Hero enters the field, Dark Hero monster enters the field, draw a card, use this only once per turn. So combined with Sneak Judgment, when it comes into play, you draw a card, you draw, then charge and draw. So you get a total of 4 cards every turn with these 2 cards out on the field. That's really good, and again, very necessary, because Dark Hero is a quick in and out kind of deck. You're in there to do big damage or as much damage as possible, and then you need to, then you're left absolutely defenseless, and you need as much damage reduction as possible. We run 4 of this card, by the way. So defensively, we got to be on the defense, so we do run Force I've Seen Through Your Moves. Red Ranger fighting the Magna Defender. I really can't say anything other than that. This is essentially a scene right out of Power Rangers Lost Galaxy, except I need a far less shotgun sword, more beam saber. What can I say? This is our standard nullify ability. We will definitely always be able to have this, because we will never have a monster in the center, considering we blow ourselves up or turn the hand at the end of turn. So you'll always be able to play this ability, and it's very necessary. We run 4 of these naturally. He is of the lowest ranks. So you can only cast this when a size 1 or less Dark Hero monsters on your field is destroyed. Since you have so many things destroying, it's a very good card, very reliable card. It lets you search up for 1 Dark Hero monster or item, put it in your hand, shuffle your deck. I don't see a lot of decks run this, and for the life of me, I don't understand why. This lets you go get cards you need, and this lets you go and set up, go get Sneak Judgment, go get Shadow Requiem, go get anything you need out of your deck. And again, as I've said before, Nabbits, Chakra Grunts, they'll be used for anything. Really good card. I run 3 of this. It doesn't work. I've been testing this out in all my Hero World builds. This is a great card because the damage reduction is absolutely necessary. It's just so needed in this deck. Far more than the other two Hero World decks I have built. Never mind that it's a 100 Demon card. I'll probably never be building a 100 Demon deck. But this is necessary. I run this at 3. This is currently testing at 3. I may bump this up to 4 and put but of the lowest rank down to 2. Despite the fact that this is good search, but you really need the defense in this game, in this deck. Next up we have I'm Finished With You. Again, guys, I know I keep saying this, and I keep saying it, and I will keep saying it. Nabbits are there to just beat the crap out of at your expense. Casting cost, destroy Dark Hero monster on your field. You can play this before the end of turn when certain Dark Heroes blow up. Its counter lets you gauge and draw a card. Again, drawing is so necessary. I don't know how necessary gauge is in this deck. I've seen decks with Hyper Energy or with BuddyFight Police. I'm trying to see how well this build handles gauge on its own naturally, with this being my only gauge enhancing card. We will see how it goes. And then we run 3 of this, by the way, guys. So it's 3, 3, 3, 4, 4. Then we're on our impact. I actually don't run impacts in the 2 other decks. Those are completely monster kill things. However, we need to get this game over with quickly before it goes in the long game. I have tested this out already solo against my other 2 Hero World decks. If this deck needs to kill and get the game over with as quickly as possible, you can absolutely not survive the long game. You could probably go into mid-game, but this deck, Shadow Heroes or Dark Heroes, is definitely a short to mid-range game deck. It's very easy to pull off. You have a lot of monsters and weapons that hit for high damage, so you'll be able to get them at 4 or less. Paying 2 gauge is not a big deal. You don't burn a lot of gauge in the deck, and it's 4 damage that cannot be reduced. So pretty straightforward. I run 4 of these. That may seem a bit much. I'm going to test with 2 to 3 of these, but right now I'm going to run it at 4. And that way it just gives me a better ability to draw and gives me something free to charge without entering my hand, while always keeping at least 1 in hand. So there's my first Hero World deck, guys. I will see everybody next month. Next week we will absolutely look at the Maiden deck. Unless by some grace of God I win ARG States in Nashville, Tennessee. Then we'll be looking again at the Metal Board deck and have an event recap. Either way, we will have an event recap of ARG States. We don't quite know. I left it up to the general public for Card Fight if I was going to be playing Gears or Metal Board. Borg right now is winning, but we still got a week out before ARG States down here. I will see everybody next week, and next month, it's time to henshin. So everybody take care, and we'll see you next time.